the Kevin Durant part of it. And Kevin Durant was, as it relates to the Miami Heat, Kevin Durant was blindsided, according to Shams, that he was going to be traded. All of that is a mess. And I will tell you, after the Heat dealt with the Suns, Ishbia is a nightmare. Like, just the guy that owns the Suns trying to play general manager is making a mess of things, is the rich person who's in charge of everything and wants to run his team and is doing so poorly as an amateur rich guy with toys and doesn't know that you don't, try to make a trade for Jimmy Butler and then just ruin everything by informing your superstar who came to be with you through means that aren't direct that he's going to be traded. Like, that's a poison. You can't have that, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Kevin Durant left after this season because of it. But he's saying about an ESPN report that the Suns locker room has been toxic the following. Quote, I heard that Ramona Shelburne came out and says our locker room is toxic. I try to tell people who aren't around this game much that it's easy to say our locker room is not connected when you come in there 45 minutes before and guys are in their game mode and not talking to each other. 4 or 5 guys might be in the training room. A few guys might be in the weight room. It's not a welcoming environment right before the game. That's part of getting ready to play. I think it's unfair and lazy to categorize our team as toxic when you come in there for 5 minutes throughout 4 months. That's the only time you've been in our locker room, and then you can make a narrative. I don't think that's fair to us, but like I said, that's part of the game, part of the business we signed up for. It is not fair in this game, but we got to deal with it and accept it. What are your thoughts there?
Who was that? Was that Ishbia or Durant?
That's Durant.
Okay.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, Kevin Durant, first off, I'm certain that's done by reporting. I'm certain the sources are good, that it's toxic in that locker room, and Kevin Durant's in charge of that. So for him to take it personally, he should, because he's one of the leaders of that team. Make sure the environment's not toxic. I believe the reports. I do.
But he's denying the reports.
I don't care what he's denying. I mean, I believe the reports. I believe the sources. It's coming from a good place. And Kevin Durant this has followed him to many of the places that he's gone. And so I'm not surprised by the reports.
I don't think a lot of people have said that he works in toxic locker rooms. I don't think that that's followed Kevin Durant. I
think that was the case in Brooklyn. I think he teams up with guys who are considered toxic, like Kyrie Irving, and then you have a toxic environment. Why would this be surprising to anyone? And why would it be surprising to a single person that Kevin Durant is questioning the sources and the story itself, saying, no, you've been there for 5 minutes? No. This is not about how long you've been in the locker room. This is about sources within that organization telling a credible reporter, hey, it's toxic in here.
I also saw Ramona speak on this, and to me it sounded like, the report is a report, but on TV, it also sounded like a fair amount of forecasting, like this is going to be a bad situation. It might not be a good situation now. It's only going to get worse. And I think Kevin might be seizing on a more literal definition of what's happening in the past or the present.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that because Kevin Durant was blindsided by this idea that he might be suddenly traded, he is a part of whatever toxicity there might be, right? Based on his attitude and feeling blindsided and feeling not appreciated, or whatever one feels when you don't expect to be traded and all of a sudden you're in the middle of all these rumors, Miami rumors and such. I mean, that he's got to be pretty sour right now.
I find usually very interesting how different the player perspective can be from everybody else's perspective. So he's arriving at this conclusion that you don't know what you're talking about because you're not in here.
Right.
But Ramona is not someone. She may not have been there very much for 4 months, but she's talking to the people who are there. Like,
correct.
She's
Yes.
doing the kind of reporting. This is not just some gasbag saying something on television or on the radio that hasn't done the reporting on that. She's not going to make stuff up for clicks. She's never done that. And Stugotz is right that the credibility there is in place in a way that I think we should treasure at this time as things become more and more murky